which is our calcium carbonate, little spine-like structures that provide also support for the sponge. Sponges with a lot of these spicules are coarser and harder. Some with the less of the spicules are more pliable and soft, like the bath sponges we have. Okay, and we have a protein called spongin, which is like the three-dimensional network where all these sponge cells are kind of embedded in. Okay, all right. The next organism that we have is Hydra. What's the level of organization in Hydra? Tissue level. How many? Two. We have basically actually two layers. We have here the inside, how do we call that? The gastrodermis. Okay? Right, the gastrodermis is inside this cavity here, which is not really a stomach at all. It's like some mushrooms. It starts digestion exogenously, so it has a little mouth here. Can trap organisms by what? By means of these tentacles or appendages. All right, and the organisms that are trapped in here are basically partially digested, and that partially digested matter is absorbed by the gastrodermis.
There are 3 or 2 layers.
Well, between the gastrodermis and what's the name of the outside?
Epiderm.
Okay, all right. And in between there is a jelly-like layer called the mesoglia. And what's in that mesoglia? They are what? Right, there is like nerve cells in that mesoglia, but they do not constitute a completely developed nervous system at all. All right. Now, how can this organism reproduce?
By budding.
Budding is asexually or sexually? Asexually. Or it can do sexual reproduction. So in here, for example, here you have this model. Here you have the eggs, and then you have the sperms as well. All right. It can detach from its food and literally change locations. It's salt water, okay? It's a saltwater animal. Yes?
Can you go over how does it reproduce sexually?
Well, sexually it can produce sperm or egg, and they are released, and so fertilization is on the water. The top two can detach and produce these, how do we call that? Medusa-like structures that can float and be carried by the currents. And that's one way that we could also have reproduction. Some of these can produce eggs or sperms. Okay? All right. Let's move to the next organism.